using the climb for reluctant loaders. Hi guys, so today I made an impromptu video while I was out training with one of my client's dogs. This was the first time I had taken this dog on a field trip, and so it was the first time she had been in my car. Quick note here, this is not her normal harness. Usually we use a balance harness with this dog, but the owners had misplaced it, and this was the only harness that they had at the house, so that's what she was out in. I would not recommend any harness that restricts movement for normal training. So back to training. I realized here that she wasn't going to load willingly back into the car. So I had a few options. One, I could have just picked her up and put her in the car. She's only 55 pounds, and that wouldn't have been a physical issue for me. However, it wouldn't have taught her anything, wouldn't have built her trust in me or her confidence. Two, I could drag her into the car. This is worse than option one because you bet that if I dragged her into the car the next time my car came around, she would be as far away from that car as possible, and this is a super soft dog, so one bad experience near the car could cause some serious damage to her emotionally. Not to mention, I try pretty hard not to force animals to do anything that they don't want to do unless it's absolutely 100% necessary. So I chose option 3, train her to enjoy going into the car. So to do this, I brought out my KLIMB. The KLIMB is a plastic platform I carry around in the car with me. It makes teaching certain behaviors like stay super easy, so I use it with clients, but I actually use it more for random training instances like this. I've used it before to load reluctant loaders, but I had never introduced a KLIMB in the parking lot of a store for the first time to a dog, and then had them load up with it. But that was what was available to me, and this was my best option at the time. If I had known this would be an issue, I would have prepped the dog at home to love getting on the KLIMB, then progressed to using it for the car, but I think it went well either way. So this is the raw video of the steps I used to get her in the car willingly. First, I put the KLIMB out, away from the car, and rewarded heavily for 2 feet on, and then all feet on, until she was comfortable getting on and being rewarded there. Next, I moved the KLIMB next to the car, and did the same thing with my initial goal being to just get her on the KLIMB near the car, not necessarily facing it. This means she didn't need to be facing the car, just near it. Next, I invited her to load onto the KLIMB facing the car, and then get her front feet up on the car. Now you'll notice in this video that this dog struggles with hind end awareness. She is not comfortable moving her back end independently from her front end. This means that she was not going to hop from the KLIMB to the car if her front feet were already up on the car and her back feet were on the KLIMB. That meant that I needed to add momentum so she could get up there, thus the running starts. It also means I will suggest some hind end awareness exercises to the owner so she feels more comfortable moving that back end. I'd probably recommend some box work and cavalettis to start with. So here you will see she willingly hops in for the first time. Notice I do not then shut the door and drive off. I want to make sure she's comfortable hopping up a couple of times and getting rewarded before we leave. I end the session here. When I've used this method before, I typically then bridge the jump by shortening the KLIMB, i.e. taking the legs off, and having them load from the lowered KLIMB, and then finally having them make the full jump. This progression works incredibly well for most dogs because they mostly just need to know that they can do it, and breaking down the behavior into little steps helps build their confidence. I also use the KLIMB with clients with older dogs who can't physically make the leap, as well as on the way down from the car, since repeated jumping from a car can put a lot of force on a dog's limbs and cause injury. I like the KLIMB because it's small enough and light enough to carry around as necessary for those tasks. So that's it. That's what I did in my impromptu card loading trading session today. If you have any questions about reluctant loaders, comment below. I'll also link to the KLIMB in the description. And remember, happy training, and subscribe now so you never miss an episode.